Yeah, hello, my dear friend, my dear students from year five. I hope you are doing well. I like to explain for you the lesson from today, which is dividing three-digit number by one-digit number. Okay, how we divide three-digit numbers by one-digit number. Look at here. I like to inform you something which is it's not I'm going to ask you about, but I want you to know it. It will help you a lot of. You have to know that the division and the multiplication are both, what are they? Are both mathematical operations, but one of them makes the number bigger and the other one makes the number smaller. What does that mean? If I have 5 times 7, it will give me 35, correct? Do you see the number 35 is big, correct? But the 7 is small and the 5 is small. When I multiply these two small numbers, it will give me a big number. We call this big number a dividend. And the small numbers, we call them the divisors. I will not ask you about these names, so don't be panicked about these names. I only want you to know that the small numbers are called divisors, and the dividend is the bigger number, which is a result of multiplying these two small numbers. Okay, that means if I divide now 35 by the divisor, which is 7, it will give me 5, a small number. Every time when I use a big number to divide one of the divisors, once I take a 7 and once I take a 5, it was always giving me a small number. Okay, so it's an opposite operation. If you bring this 7 here, 35 divided by 7, it will give you 5. So always the multiplication, we use them, and division, we use these two operations to check the results, one of the other. Okay. So now we know that the dividend is always the bigger number, which is when it is divided by the divisor, it will give me a small number, which is called also divisor. We come back to our subject. Okay, how we divide this three numbers, three digits, sorry, three digits. This is one number, consists of three digits, 1, 6 divided by 5 equal 23, and R stands for remainder. Okay, how I find this result here? As we know, as I explained, because this is the big number, this is called the dividend, and this is the divisor, the small number. Okay, what we do? First thing you think about a number, which I multiply by 5, which will give me 116. All what you've done here is you change this number. You brought this number in the other side, okay? And I changed the division into a multiplication. Because if I put a number here, this number here must be smaller than 116 because it must be smaller. I don't know. We shall think about it. We shall think about which number we shall choose, okay? If I multiply it by 5, it will give me 116. 16 here is the dividend. It is the bigger number. So when you have such a question, you bring the bigger number on the other side and you bring down the 5 and change the division into multiplication. Now, what I do, why did I choose 20 now here? You should choose a number. You should choose a number, and a very easy number. We call it a very friendly number. We don't like to take numbers which are complicated. Maybe you ask me, Mr. What I choose? Choose the multiples of 5. Choose 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 25 or 20, 30, 40. Choose a friendly number under one condition. What is this condition? When you choose this number and you multiply it by 5, it will give you a number which is less than the one we put at the top here, which is the dividend, okay? So I chose 20 because 20 is friendly, and when I multiply 20 by 5, it will give me 100. And 100 is less than 116. That's okay, okay? What we are doing here, we are trying to make the division, we are trying to solve the division by separating or by making the multiples by parts. I take parts of the multiple and I'm multiplying, and then I add them together to find the result. We shall see that through the solution now. What is happening here now? I took 10. You can take 10, by the way. If you take 10, the steps will be longer. You don't need to take 20 so that you get a result which is closer to 116, but not exceeds 116. Okay. So now 20, I took 20. You can take 10. Okay. You cannot take 30. Why? If you take 30, 30 times 5, how much? Oh, it's 150, and 150 is bigger than 116. This number have to be smaller than 116. So after that, I subtract them. 116 minus 100 is going to be 16. Okay. Now, 16, should I go further or I can say 16 is the remainder? No, because 16 still is bigger than the divisor. Where's the divisor? 5. You continue doing this process until you get a number which is less than the divisor. Then you stop. So 16 still is bigger than the divisor, so I continue. What I continue, again, I think of a number which I multiply by 5, which is giving me another number. The result will be less than 16. Now I don't say less than 116. No, this was our first result. When we change it, we bring it from division situation to multiplication result. And then we have a new result here, 16, and we have to think about the 16 now. I need a number which I will multiply by 5. It will give me a number, 15, which is less than 16, not more than 16, okay? So I took 3. You cannot took 5 because 5 times 5 is 25 and 25 is bigger than 16. So I took 3. 3 times 5 is 15. And again, I make this subtraction process, 16 minus 15. This will give you 1. Now 1 is less than the divisor, correct? When it is less than the divisor, then I leave it the 1. 1 is the remainder for me now. Now 1 is the remainder. Okay, when 1 is the remainder, how did I get 23? 23, you know the parts that we suggested? Once we suggested 20 and once we suggested 3, you add these together. When I add 20 and 3, it will give me 23, and it is the result which we are seeing here, okay? This is the second question. Also the same thing. We have a dividend and the divisor equal 29 and the remainder is 3. I bring the 5 down. I change the division to multiplication and I bring my dividend to the front. Now I think about a number. When I multiply it by 5, it will give me a result which is less than 148 and not equal or extend the 148. I choose 25. 25 times 5 is 125. I subtract them. It will give me 23. 23 is always still bigger than 5. So I continue. I bring another equation here and I say, okay, I choose 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 is less than 23. That's okay. I subtract it is 3. 3 is less than 5, my divisor. So this is the remainder. And I add the suggested numbers which I suggested, 25 and 4. I wanted this number. I have chosen this number to be multiplied by 5. So I add these part numbers, the 25 and the 4, which is 29. And this is our result, the 29. And the remainder is 3. Thank you.